All right. Thank you so much for joining everyone today. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon from wherever you are joining us from. Thank you and welcome to day 10. Can you imagine we have used 2 weeks out of our 4 weeks? We have used 2 weeks and it's been an awesome time of learning for everyone that has been participating fully since the inception of um, since the inception of this training. We have we have been we have been learning a lot, and I believe that by now our store where we normally put our learning things in our head is already getting filled up already. Okay, I want to be sure that I am being heard. So please, if you can hear me, kindly put kindly put Ayodeji, I know you are welcome. Thank you so much, my boss, for joining us again today. Please, if you can hear me, kindly put your name in the chat and tell us where you are calling us from. I mean, where you are joining us from, not calling us. And then let me know that my voice is audible enough so that I won't just be speaking into the air. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can see you. Ayodeji, I know Ezekiel. Thank you so much. Others are joining us soon, but we will not be waiting for them. We are going to start right away. Today, we are going to be having our quiz that we could not have yesterday. I have a backup plan today on that one that you don't like. On that platform that you don't like, I have a backup there. So when it's time for a quiz and Slido is doing anyhow, we just switch to that one that we are going to use, and then hopefully loud and clear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we are going to be using that. Now, before we go into quiz for today, before I go into the quiz for today, I will we will be doing, of course, as usual, we will learn a few things, and then we will build the remaining part of our project. We are going to build the remaining part of our project before we go into the quiz for today. So the remaining part of our project that we are going to build will be this footer section. This footer section here is what we are going to be building today. I believe it will be interesting to see how to arrange them like this, especially on the large screen. Let me show you the large screen so that you can get yourself excited about it already. On the large screen, it looks like this. It looks like this. So we are going to be working on this lower part and then filling in everything today before we now go into the quiz competition proper. But the part of learning that I want us to do today is not actually learning something new outrightly. We are going to be reminding ourselves a few of the things that we have talked about this week, and we re-emphasize them, putting them into practice again so that it can be entrenched into our learning model. Okay, we'll be learning about font weight, we'll be learning about font family, we're talking about double classes again. We learn how to do animation, we learn how to use font family. I've already talked about that one. We learn about the grid. We said display of flex and display of grid. So we look at the grid again, then we look at transition, then we look at, yesterday I explained position and absolute. I mean position of relative and absolute. Today we are going to be re-emphasizing all those ones within a few minutes before we start building our project. Hopefully I can be done with those ones within 30 minutes. Okay, so without wasting our time, let's get right into it. Let me get my screen up. Okay, my VS Code is up. I already have my live server on. So my live server is open on this second tab here, and what you are seeing here is the project that we are working on right here. Okay, so which one do I go with first? Let me go with font weight. Font weight talks about how heavy you want your text to look like. So I'm going to be changing. Let me just clear off everything that is on top of the form here and use them again. Everything on top of the form. Where's the form? Okay, this is the form. So everything on top of the form, everything here, I'm going to be cleaning them off, and then I will save so that this one will go away. And then when they go away, I can now start putting something there. So to be able to use font weight, I can come here and do H3. Let me use P so that we will be able to see the difference very well. Let me put inside this P, this is a normal weight text. This is a normal width. This is a let me put past tense here. A normal weighted text. Okay, when I save it, you will see the way it looks on the screen. So if I want it to become bold, what will I do? I use what we call, the P should come on top of, okay, it's there. So if I want it to become bold, what will I do? I will use font weight. Font weight. So let me be putting the things that we are learning today here. Font weight, like that. So I'll be using font weight property to set the weight of this thing. Where can I of course, as we know, I can put a class here so that I can now go to my CSS and pick the value of the class and use it to affect this particular paragraph there. Or I can use an inline style here also. Style, like we said, we have 3 ways of applying styles. This is one of them, style. And for the style, I'll be looking for font weight. So once you type font, it will give you all this option. Just scroll to where font weight is and then select it and choose a value. The value can be any of all these ones. It can be 700, it can be 800, it can be 900, it can be bold. If you choose 700, it is equivalent to bold also. So when you save it, you should see that your text becomes bold immediately by using font weight. Font weight gives you that effect there. Apart from font weight, we also have what we call font family. Font family. So I'll be removing this value now. I'll be removing this value, and then still inside that same style, instead of using font weight now, what I want for this text is that I want to change the font. That is the handwriting. I want it to look different. I don't want it to look normally. This is like Times New Roman. If you use Microsoft Word very well, this one looks like Times New Roman. But I don't want it to be like that. I want to change the outlook, the handwriting. I want it to look different. To be able to achieve that, what I'm going to do is to use what we call font family. So still inside this style tag, inside this style attribute for the P tag, I'll start with font, and then it's going to give me all this one. Then I'll come here and choose font family. When I choose font family, it's going to give me all the options I have already in my system. It's going to give me all these ones. But if I want something different from all these ones, I can always go to Google Font, like we did in that class. Please, if you missed that class, get the video. I can't remember the day now, maybe 2 days ago or 3 days ago. We talked about Google Font, and then we're able to get different fonts from Google and install them inside our project so that we can have different fonts in our work. So if I choose something different here, let's say I want to choose let me choose this one. And I already told you that in the font family series, the first one will first of all be looked for. If the first one cannot be found, then the next one, then the next one. They always put the last one there is always available, which is this serif. It's always available in any system. No matter how old the system is, it will always be there. So they always put it there as the backend, either serif or sans serif. They put it there so that even if you cannot find all these ones, then that last one will always be available. So they are like backup after backup after backup that they have put there inside the font family. So I'm going to save it now so that we can see the effect of that selection on the text. I've already saved it, and then it's coming up now. Okay, it has not changed much. Let me change this to something else. I'll go back here and type the family again so that it can give me those options. Then when I do that, when I type colon, I can pick, let me pick this one, Gills. When I save it, you should be able to see it has changed. I don't know if you can see it, but it changed very, very briefly right now. So it has changed. That is how to use font family. So font family affects the font, the handwriting, the outlook of the text on the screen. We use it for the font. Font means the text that are on the screen. All right. So apart from font family, what else can we do to our text? We can change the size. And for the size, do you remember the property that we normally use? I'm going to clear this one off. Do you remember the property that we normally use for our size? Okay, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Thank you. I'm hearing you. And then it's going to be font size. How do we type it? You type font. You will notice that when you type font, before you say the next word, they put hyphen inside. They put hyphen before you say the next word. So this is the one that we are going to be using to affect the size. And to affect the size, you can pick all these predetermined size. You can use all these ones, or you use pixels. For now, we are still using pixel, although there are other units of measurement that are better than pixel, that are more responsive in like rem and em. I don't want to bug us with that one for the rest of this week. Perhaps when we resume again, we are going to be talking about that one. But let me just change this one to 30 pixels, for example, and then I will save it. And then it's going to come like 30 pixel like this. So font size, font family, font weight, you know the difference between them now? Yes, you do. That's wonderful. Okay. Apart from that one, what else can I do to this text? I can change the background of this text and also the color. So let me give this text a background. How do we give background? If I want the background to be a single color, all I have to do is just come here and begin to type back, and then I will pick background color. When I click it, it gives me all this option of colors. If I don't want any one of them, I can type the color code of the one I want. But assuming I want any one of them, let me choose hot pink. And then when I save it, the background of this text is going to look like that. Hot pink. Hot pink. It's actually hot. Okay. Hot pink. That is the color for hot pink. And apart from changing the background color, I can also affect the padding and the margin. Now, let me re-emphasize the padding and margin again. Margin and padding. What's the difference between the two? Can you ask yourself and respond before I provide the answer? What's the difference between padding and margin? If I use padding on this paragraph, what is going to happen? If I use margin on it, what is going to happen? I can't hear you. Are you saying something? Okay. So I'm going to assume that you actually know what will happen if I use padding. But if assuming you don't know, let me still tell you either way. So I want to use padding. What padding will do is that padding is going to give more space inside this pink. Padding is going to give more space inside this pink so that the black text has more space to breathe still inside that pink background. Let me see. Let me use it so that you can see. To finish this this style, I will put semicolon and then I will type padding. I will type padding. When I type padding, the value I want to use, let me just use 10 pixels for now. When I save it, you will notice on the left that it has more space now to breathe. If I change it to 20, change it to 20 pixels, it's going to even have even more space to breathe like that. So that is the work of padding. Padding works internally within the border of the element. The border of the element is where this pink is. So when you increase padding, you are increasing the space between the border and the element inside it. That is padding. But margin does not work that way. If I increase margin for this paragraph text now, it's going to increase the gap between this pink box and this orange box here, this large orange box that contains our form. If I increase the margin for this one, it's going to space them. Let me use margin bottom. Of course, we have different types of margin. We have margin on itself will apply to all the four corners, both top, left, right, and top, bottom, left, and right will be applied once you choose margin alone. So here, let me come here and instead of using padding, okay, let me leave padding like that, and then let me add margin again. If I use margin like this alone, without margin top or left or anything, it's going to apply it to all the corners. Margin top is going to put top, the same value that I put, is going to put it for top, bottom, left, and right. So let me use margin of 20 pixels. And then we'll see that the distance between this pink and this orange box will increase. So I'm going to save it now. I'm saving it, and then it's not too pronounced. Let me make it something big so that we can be able to see the difference. 50 pixels. I've saved it, and then we'll be able to see can you see the difference now? So it will apply 50 pixels of gap to the top, 50 pixels of gap to the left, 50 pixels to the right, and then 50 pixels to the bottom also, before the next item can now come underneath. So we use margin for stuff like that, and then we use padding for inside the element itself. I hope that explanation on margin and padding is already clear. Okay, still in this week, we talked about transition. Transition happens when you want to change something. If you want to change something like you want to hover on something and you want something to change. For example, now when I hover on this P, assuming I want the text to become green. I want the text to become green when I hover on it. How do I do it? Let me give it a class. Let me call it demo. A class of demo. I'll pick it and then I'll go to my CSS file. Go to my CSS file and pick that demo class. Let me pick it right here. Demo class. And then inside the demo class, what I want to do is I want to show that when let me first give it a color. Let me say color. The default color that we have is let me give it this. This one will not show well. I save it, it will not show well. It is not showing well. Let me just say black. Yes, black like that. Save it, it becomes black. And then I want to say if I hover on this demo class, which is this P tag, if I hover on it, I want the color to change to green. So how will I do that? I'll come here and say class of demo. Then when you hover on it, so demo, you put this colon there to show that you want to pick the over portion of that particular element. So you say over. When I hover on it, I want the color to change from black that it was to something else. So I will say color becomes something. Let me say green now. Green. I think we have different types of green. Let me see which green is giving me now. I want this one. Green is okay. Green is okay. So I will save it. And it will be waiting for me to bring my mouse over on that element so that the color can change. So as I move my mouse over now, you will see that the color is changing. The color is changing. Let me change the font size so that we can see it very well. Font size of 25 pixels. Save. Then it looks like that. So as I move my cursor over it, the text will change. The text will change. The text will change. Now, you see the rate at which it is changing. It is so fast. So fast, it's just appearing like that. In normal web development, in modern web development, we don't do that again. We have what we call transition that makes this thing to appear little by little based on the timing that we have set. How do I achieve that? I'll come to the original class. This is the original class, and this is the over portion. So I'll just come to the original class here and say, I want to add transition to this guy. Transition. As you begin to type it, it is going to give you those options, and you are going to pick in this transition. When you have transition, the safest, if you don't know the property to transition, just say all like this. After you pick all, you pick the time you want for the something to run. 0.5 seconds is always nice, but you can start with 1 second so that you can be able to see it very well. And then you end it with easing out. As you begin to type EA, it's going to give you this option, and then you are going to pick easing out. Easing out means when it's coming in and when it's coming out, it will go smoothly. It will go smoothly like that. So when I save it now and I go to move my mouse close, you will see how the color changes systematically. It changes with transition smoothly. Let's go. And you see it has changed. I remove it again, it has removed. I put it there, it has changed. At the time of 1 second that you already set. I move it there, it has changed. I move it away, it's no longer there. I move it there, it has changed. So 1 second. But normally, we normally use 0.5. I don't know why I normally say this normally, because I know some of you may want to use it for, but 0.5 seconds is fine. It's fine for this kind of effect to happen. So that is how we do transition. That's how we had transition to something. All right. Now, assuming instead of changing color, if I want to do, when I hover, I want it to have I want it to change. I want the size to change when I want the size to change when I move my cursor over it. Let's try it on this one, whether it will work. Let me change the font size from 25 to something else. Let's say font size to 50 pixel now. Let's change it to 50 pixel. And remember, we have already added transition to all of them. So let's see if it works. If it does not work, we'll do something else. Let's see. Aha, it's working. And then you see now, and then you see now. So let's make it 1 second so that it can grow in our face. It can grow for us to see like that. So when I bring it in, it changes. When I bring it out, it changes over a period of 1 second, just like that, just like that, and just like that. Okay, that is transition for you. So we have talked about transition. Let me try and remind you how to apply border also. Border means the line that you want to use to cover your element. This element of paragraph text that I'm still using can still take border, even though I've already applied background color to it. So how do I apply border to it? Let me just click at the end of this transition and apply border. And I will say border, just the word border. So when you click it like this, it's going to give you the option. The first thing you are going to pick, you are going to write is the width of your border. How wide do you want it to be? Is it 1 pixel or 2 pixel or 3 pixel or 5 pixel? I'll be using 5 pixel for this. The next thing you want to say is, do you want it to be solid, or you want it to be dotted, or you want it to be dashed? Okay, I'll be using dotted for now so that you can see it on the screen. And then you have the option of specifying the color that you want at the end of this dotted. If you don't put it there, it is fine. It's going to use the default value, which is black. But if you want color, you can just put it there. Let me save it now so that we can see how it looks. This is how it looks now. That's how it looks. That is 5 pixel dotted without the color. So if I decide to put a color there, let's say I want the color to be blue. Yes, I want the color to be blue. And then when I save it, it's going to have that blue border color. Because I chose dotted here, I could have also chosen dashed. Like that. When I save it, you're going to see the difference between dotted and dashed. And then I could have chosen solid. Solid is the normal one that you normally see, where it looks like a normal line, and then it's going to look like that. That is how to apply border. It takes 3 arguments. The first one is the size. The next one is the type of the line that you want. And the third argument, of course, is optional. The last 2 are optional. The only one that is compulsory is the size. The solid part and the color part, they are both optional. If you don't put them, there will still be border. So let me remove them now so that you can see that there will still be border on your, oh boy, there is no border. You need to put solid there. So you need to put solid there. You need to put solid or dashed or dotted. Okay. So we've been able to run through margin and padding. We've run through font weight. We've run through font family, and then we've run through transition. Let's talk about animation. For animation talks about you want things to move on the screen from a particular point to another particular point. So to be able to do that, let me just use it for this. Let me use it for this. Okay. Let me use it for this demo also. Let me use it for this demo. Let me come here and say demo class. Okay, no, I already have demo defined. So let me just copy. Let me copy this property. Okay, let me just come here to demo here. I want to add animation to this particular paragraph. I want to add animation to it. What kind of animation do I want to add? You have to start with the word animation. Start with the word animation. And when you type animation, you have the option of putting some values there. The values that will help the animation know how it will be. The first thing you put there is the name for that animation. Because you are going to be using that name, you can have several animations inside this CSS file. So to be able to singularly select this particular animation when you are defining how it will move, you need to give it a name. You can say animation 1, or you just say text animation, something like that. Animation 1. So animation 1, after you put animation 1, the next thing you want to put is the time that it will take to complete one cycle. So let's say I want it to be 10 seconds. 10 seconds like that. Then the next thing you want to do is to select how it will move. So you choose linear value for that one. The next one you want to select is the frequency of movement. Normally when you want things to move like that, you want them to continue to move, except if you want them to move a number of times, you can put the number of times that you want here. But I will be using infinite right here. And then when I save it, although it's not going to start working now because I have not defined what will happen to this demo, to this animation 1. The one I defined before was for marquee direction. So I need to define for animation 1 now. How do we define for animation 1? I'll come underneath it, I will say at keyframes. At keyframes, I'll come and say at keyframes. Where is it? Under this one. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. I'll say at keyframes. At keyframes. And when I have at keyframes, the next thing I'm going to say is I want to attach this at keyframes to a particular name of animation that I've already specified. in the previous, I've already specified it in the previous class, which is demo. So I want a name for this at keyframes. So the name will be the same name that I've given it here. So I will copy that one and then I paste it here. Now I'm ready to define what the keyframes will look like by putting my curly brace. When I put my curly brace and I open it, I'm going to be having two items. The first one is from, it will have its own curly brace. Then the second one is to, then it will have its own curly brace. It's as simple as that. From curly brace to curly brace. Inside the curly brace is where you put what you want to happen from the beginning and what you want it to happen at the end. For this one, for example, if I want it to begin to be big and small, I can say the first part is transform. I want it to transform. How do I want it to transform? From where? Transform. Then when you put transform, let me see the options that it's going to give me. So it's going to give you these options. Transform. Then I want it to be big and small continuously without stopping. So I will have scale here. Scale is what you can use to achieve that. Like I told you, you can practice your hand around all of these things and learn how each of them will affect whatever things you are putting in the UI. It is by practicing that you actually learn and become a master in all these things. So I'll be using scale. So at the beginning, what will the scale look like? Let the scale be 1. Then in the 2, just copy this one. In the 2 part, I will want the scale to transform and become times 1 point, let's say 2. Yes. So it becomes times 2 of what it is. Let me make it 1.5. I don't want it to be so big. So it's going to look like that once I activate. And if you check now, the screen, without me doing anything, the text will continue to increase and come down again because of the time I have set. I can increase this time. I can reduce the time so that I can reduce it to like 2 seconds. So that in 2 seconds, it will grow and then go back and then grow back like that. So that is how to use and how to apply animation to things on the screen. You can use this animation for image. You can use it for text. You can use it for icons. You can use it for a lot of things on the screen. If you need stronger animation than this, of course, it's still possible. In web development, anything is possible. But for now, for this level, I think if you are able to achieve all these ones on your own, you are doing well. So we've talked about animation. We've talked about transition. We've talked about margin and padding, font weight, and at keyframes. Let's talk about position and absolute again. There is that. I explained this yesterday, but it was because that person was asking. It was actually not something that we have actually done before. Okay, margin is outside, padding is within. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayodeji. Thank you so much. Now, let's see. I already explained it yesterday, but let me see if we can still try and get it again for those of us who missed it yesterday. It's very important. At some point, you will need it to be able to position something on top of something. So let's say this is a normal. Let me remove this over from this thing. Let me remove the over from it. I save it. I've removed the over. When I put cursor on it now, the over effect will not be working again like that. Now, let's say on this P tag, I want to write a text. Let me say I want to write yes on it. It's naturally not possible to do that because if I come here now and I put another P tag here and I say yes is the word, it's going to appear underneath. It's going to appear under the text, like here. You see now, it's there, but it's under. If I want it at this, on top of this pink, what will I do? So that is where positioning now comes in. So you can position a lot of things on top of each other using position. So to be able to achieve position, you have to put both the base item that you want to put something on top of it, and the item you want to put on it, you put them in a container. I'm going to be putting this one out in a container called div, of course, our dear div. So I'll copy all these two. Where's the second one? Okay, this one. I'll copy the two, and then okay, it should be fine. I'm going to cut all these ones out, and then I want to come here to paste them inside this div. This one will be the wrapper. This div here that I just created will be the wrapper. So let me call it apps wrapper, absolute wrapper. apps wrapper is the name of their wrapper. So this one is already inside, but I don't want this one to be underneath it. I want it to be on it. If I want it to be beside it, I can use display of flex. But now I want it to be on top of the text itself. So here is the magic. So you come to demo. This one here is the this div that is containing both of them here. I'm going to be making it relative because it is their parent. It is the parent. So I'm going to be making it to become relative. You make the parent to become relative, then you make what you want to move on top to become absolute. That's the idea. So let me give this one a class. Movie. This one is movie. This one is movie. Okay, movie is the one that I want to move. Then it's going to be, I want to move it on absolute wrapper. So let me come here and select apps wrapper so that we can see apps wrapper. Apps wrapper, I want the position to be relative. This one will not do anything for me yet. It won't do anything. It's just making sure that, okay, so you want to start measuring your dimension from this apps wrapper. So it will take note of that. Now I'll come and pick the class for the P that I want to move, which is movie. Movie now. So let me go back to my CSS and say movie is movie. I want movie to be position of absolute. Position of absolute, semicolon. When I save it, it's going to move it away already. Something is happening already. I don't know if you are seeing it. It has moved away from where it was, but it's moving away down right now. So I'm going to use top, and I'm going to arrange the positioning again by adding some other properties. For example, I can say from top, come use only 0 pixel, and then from left, move only 0 pixel also. By the time I save this one, I will expect it to be moving from the top like that. I hope you can see that. From the top, 0, from the left, 0. So if I want from the left to move inside like 50 pixel, let me say 50 pixel, yeah, 50 pixel. When I save it, I'm going to be having it move inside like that. Let me say if I want 150 pixel, I will have 150 pixel and I will save it. Then it moves inside again, just like that. From the top, instead of having it 0 pixel, if I want it to come down a bit, I can say 20 pixel. Let me add 20 pixel to this one, and then I save it. Then it looks like that 20 pixel is way too much for what we want. So 0 is fine. 0 is fine. So that is positioning, how you can place something on top of something on your web page without having any problem at all. Okay, I think that those are all the things that we have been able to cover. Those are the key highlights. We've covered more than that, but those are the highlights of the things that we have been able to cover in the course of the week. So without wasting our time, let me go into our project and see how we can add the footer part of our project into it today. Finish it today, finish the footer part today, and then allowing us to also practice it. Okay, this is the finished project. This is what we want to achieve, and I've already shown you the big picture, how it looks. So the first thing you will notice is that, let me show you the large screen. The first thing you will notice is that it has 4 columns. How many columns can you see in the footer? Yeah, you are seeing 4 columns, right? Yes, we are seeing 4 columns there. 4 columns. And 4 columns, you will see that they have different width. Are you noticing that they have different width? Unlike the previous one that we have been doing, where everything in the column has the same width. This one have different width. In fact, the one at the center, the one as number 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The one at number 2 is the one that is even wider, while number 3 and 4 have the same thing, and number 1 is just a bit less than the second one. I hope you can see all these things I'm saying here. Those analysis help you to be able to structure your HTML element very well. Because if you are unable to structure your HTML element, you will not get the kind of result that you want in your UI. Okay, I've already seen now that they have 4 columns, right? So I'm going to go into my code now and create these 4 columns, and then hopefully begin to put in my values. Let's go. So in my VS Code that you are seeing right now, I will be putting in, Let me go to my HTML file. Underneath, because I'm working on the footer now. I'm working on the footer in my project. Working on the footer part. So the footer part looks like this under this brand stuff. We did this one too yesterday where we touched grayscale. Yesterday, yes, yesterday. So please, if you have forgotten or you did not take note of it, kindly rewatch the video and do the needful. So I'm going to be putting everything I want to put here inside this footer. Okay, there is a part that I'm actually leaving out, which is the part of the copyright. I'm not sure I will have enough time to do it today. The part of the copyright is very, very simple, but I'm leaving it out so that we can focus on that, on the other 4 columns that we are going to be writing. So I'm going to open up this footer, and I know that I will have a div that is wrapping all this footer, right? Let me add a div and call it row. We already have a class of row defined in this project, and row is given a class of display of flex. Let me show you. Row, let me find it. Control F and then type row there. It will take you to where row has been defined. Where row, keep on clicking on this button and then you are here. So this is row. When we say row, it means it's going to display it as flex, and then it's going to give it flex wrap of wrap, and it's going to give it justified content of space between. Okay, that is fine for me. Now, so I'm going to have a div that will wrap all the 4 columns together. This div will wrap them together for me. Now, inside the div of row, which is a row means it's moving from left to right. I'm going to be having 4 different columns here. I'm going to be having 4 different divs with 4 different class names. I'll call this one footer call 1. I'll call this one footer call 1. Then I'm going to copy and duplicate it in 3 other different places to make total of div of 4. So we have 4 divs inside this row now, representing each of those 4 columns that we have seen in the footer. Okay, so representing each of them in the footer like that. If we have 4 columns, I won't be calling all of them the same name because they are having different width, they are having different things that I want to do there. So let me change the name of this one to footer 2, footer call 3, and then footer call 4. Footer call 4, just like that. Okay, now I need to let me put something here, and then put something here, and then put something here, and then put something here. Let me save it so that we can see what it looks like on the screen. It's saving now. And when it finishes saving, we are going to see what it looks like on the screen. You see what it's looking like on the screen. It's giving equal space to all of them. But that is not what I want, right? I want footer 3 and footer 4 to be small. I want footer 1 to have a particular width. And I want footer call 2 to be able to take the remaining space after we have already specified what will happen to footer call 1 and footer call 3 and 4. So let me go to my CSS and pick this one, footer call 1. I will say, where will I put it? So let me put it underneath because it is footer, right? Okay, I will say footer call 1, then I must put dot there so that I can choose class. For footer call 1, I want the flex basis to be, that flex basis talk about how wide do you want the column to be. That's meaning of flex basis. Let me make this first one to be 30%. 30% means out of the 100% space that is available for the 4 of them, footer 1 is taking 30% away already, leaving 70% for the rest of the guys. Okay. If you check very well in that in the finished product that I show you, you will notice that footer 3 and footer 4 have the same. Footer 3 and footer 4 have the same width. You will check and see that footer 3 and footer 4 their width is the same. It's equal. So I can style them together using the same thing, and they actually contain the same thing also. They actually the same text, stuff like that, the same text arrangement. So let's go back, and then in this place I'll be saying footer call 1 I've taken 30% of the width available. So let me pick footer call 3, sorry, footer call 3 and footer call 4. If I want to select two classes and give them the same, and give them the same attribute, I will use comma here and then pick footer call 4 again. Footer call 4 like this. This one is different from what we have when we say footer call 3 that is having something inside, maybe H3. This one is different. You can see that there is a greater than sign in between the two of them. This one means I am targeting the H3 that is inside footer call 3. It's different from this one. This one means you will find me a class that is footer call 3. You also find a class that is footer call 4, and then you apply this same style I want to put here for the two of them. It's a shortcut way of writing. Instead of writing footer call 3 separately and footer call 4 separately, and they will contain the same thing, let's just merge them together using this comma like that. I hope that one is clear and you are not confused. Okay, now what do I want for footer call 3? I want to set the flex basis also. Let me set the flex basis. Already you will check the left and you see that footer call 1 has taken bigger space than the rest now. It's taking bigger space than the rest. So it will begin to adjust itself like that. Footer call 3 and footer call 4 will be having flex basis of just, let's give it 12%. 12% like that. So I will save it. And then footer call 3 and footer call 4 will be having that. The reason why it's not showing like this now on the screen is because I have not determined what will happen to footer call 2. So for footer call 2, this is what is going to happen to footer call 2. I'm going to say something. Footer call 2. I'm going to say footer call 2 should take the remaining space available. It should go as wide as it can be once footer call 3 and 4 has been taken care of, and footer call 1 has been taken care of here. Footer call 3 and 4 has been taken care of here. Then let footer call 2 take all the remaining space. How do we establish that in CSS? We say flex of 1. Flex value of 1. Flex value of 1. Flex value of 1 means it will grow. Flex basis also, it will be growing as long as the space is available for him. After the remaining space that's available, yes, that's the way to explain it. The remaining space that's available for it, for this column, it will take the maximum space that's available for it. And when you save, this is what you are going to be having. So call 1 is going to be having its own now. Call 3 is going to be having the same width as the rest. And call 3 is going to be having the same width as call 4. And call 2 is going to be as wide as possible after those three has taken their own share. Now, let's go back into HTML and try to put in some things. In footer call 1, what do we have? In footer call 1, we have a text that says download our app. And then we have download app for Android, iOS. I'm not going to be typing it. I'm going to be copying it and I'll be pasting it. I just want to see what element am I going to use. For the first one, let me use H3. Then for the next one, let me use P. So I have H3 and I have P. Then I have a div containing 2 images. H3 on top, followed by P, followed by a div containing those 2, Google Play and App Store. I'm going to put them in a div so that I can use flex to make them stay beside each other. All right, so H3, P, and div inside column 1. Let's go to our HTML. All right, inside column 1, instead of 1 here, I'm going to be having H3. I'm going to be having a P. I'm going to be having a div also, like this. Okay, that is inside footer call 1. So let me put a comment and say column 1. This one will be column 2. Column 2. I'll just press Ctrl// to put a comment on that, like that. So where is the text for the H3? I'm going to come to the finished product, the finished project, and copy it from here. Download our app. Then I'll paste it inside the H3, like that. Okay, then I will come to the P and copy the second one, paste it inside the paragraph tag, just like that. Okay, then the images are already inside the images folder that we have in our system. So I'm going to be putting the 2 images here. So I will say img tag tab, and then I will specify where the image is, dot forward slash, of course, images. Then the name should be something like logo. Now it's not logo, it's not logo. Let me see. App Store. Yes, I have App Store here, and I have, there should be another store. I can see App Store, and there is another store. I've not switched it back. Sorry about that. I did not switch it back. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Let's see. We have, okay. So images source is dot forward slash images dot slash let me just do it again, slash, then let me first of all pick App Store dot png. I think there should be Play Store there too. So the alt for this one, I'll call it App Store for the alt for this one. I'm going to be having two images there, so I'll just copy and paste this one underneath each other like that. I will remove the source and say images slash, then I'll be looking for Play Store. There should be Play Store. Yes, there's Play Store.png there. I will pick that one, and then the alt is going to be Play Store, just like that. When I save this one, it won't look exactly the way I want, because I need to make these images stay beside each other, but they will be staying on top of each other right now. So let me go to my project and save what we are having there. After saving, this is what we'll be having. They will be staying like this on top of each other. But no, this is not what I want. I want them to be beside each other. So I'm going to be using this div to control them. Let me just write it here. Style inline. Remember, it's very useful. It can be useful at a lot of times. Display equal to flex. And when you save this one now, they should be beside each other immediately. Beside each other like that. Then you don't want you want the image that is inside this flex to not go beyond the border, because as you can see now, you see that it is going beyond the space that they have given to it. So you want this width, the width of the image here, to be just 50% of the to be 50% of the space that's available, so that two of them can stay there, or maybe 45% safe, so that they can still have space margin in between them. So I'm going to be changing that now so that this image can fit in very well. I will say I can put a class to the image. Let me give this one a class. Let me remove this one and go to CSS to write it. Let me remove this one from here. I'm going to be giving this one a class of what? Can you guess? Let's say row 1, call 1. Okay, let's say store logo. Store hyphen logo. Store hyphen logo. I'll save it. Then come to CSS and begin to write for store hyphen logo. Store hyphen logo. When I do that, the first thing I want to say is to say display is flex. And when I pick flex for that, they will stay beside each other as we have them now. But this image is too big, so I want it to stay between 45% of the space available, which is from ear to ear. 45% of that is what it should take. So how do I get it? Store logo, the image that is inside store logo is what I want to pick now. I want to pick the image that's inside store logo. So I will come here and say the image that is inside store logo. Okay, I'll come here and say dot store logo, dot store hyphen logo. Then I want to pick the image that is inside of it, just like that. Then I'll open my curly brace and say the width. Okay, I don't need to use width. Since I have used display of flex on their container, let me use flex basis for this one. Width will also work. Anyway, let me use flex basis for this one. And if you use width, it's not working, use flex basis. Flex basis of, let's say, 45% for the start, so that we can see how it looks. And then we see that it's not taking effect on the something. It's not taking effect, right? So let me see. Let me see why it's not taking effect. On store logo, store hyphen logo, we want to affect the image that is there. IMG tag. Store hyphen logo, we want to affect the IMG tag. Okay, flex basis is not working. Let's take this one out and say we want to pick the width now. The width. Let's say the width would be 45%. And then we save it. And then we begin to have it work for us immediately. Flex basis did not work, but flex basis will not work, and the width is working for us. So this is the width of 45% for the two images that we have on that column right now. If I make it big, okay, we are going to be looking at the big one, the big picture after now. But this is how they are looking, and this is what is looking like on this place. So don't worry, it will be fine. All right. So you can set a minimum width for that, but for now, just don't worry. As long as you can place them beside each other like this, you are still good to go. Let me try and put gap between them and say gap for the store logo is let's say 10 pixel. Let's say 10 pixel like that. We save it and then we have that space between them. You can see the space between them now. Okay, now let's focus on the second column. For the second column, let's look at what it looks like on the big screen. Second column, the first thing we have there is the image. Then we have a paragraph text. The image on top, paragraph text below. That one is a bit simple, right? Image on top, paragraph text below. Image on top, paragraph text below. So let's go back to our code and write that. Image on top for the second column. Image on top. Column 3 is this one, just for me to be able to know where what is starting when I'm trying to troubleshoot. So this one, I'm going to be having image on top. Then I'll be having paragraph text below it, just like that. So the image is going to be the logo. So I'll say /images/logo. I pick logo, I'll come here and pick logo.png. And then my alt for this one is going to be logo. Or you can say store logo. Store logo, anything you want that can be a description of the image that you're actually putting there. And you know, we have talked about alt before, that alt is useful when a browser will not be able to display a particular image. The alt will be able to show right there and then, so that you will have an idea that, oh, it's the browser that is not showing it. It's not that the image is not there. Okay, so the image on top, then we want a text below. The text is this. Our purpose is to sustainably make the pleasure and benefit accessible to the many. Benefit of sports accessible to many. So I'm going to be pasting that inside this paragraph tag, like so. And I will save. When I save, I will be expecting that they have already arranged themselves underneath each other here. Okay, but of course, as usual, you will see that the image is so big. The logo image is so big. So to be able to correct it, I will need to come here and say the image inside of footer call 2. This is the class footer call 2. The image inside of it, I don't want it to be more than 100%, maybe 70% of the space available to it. So I will come to style and say footer call 2 image. Footer call 2, then the image that is inside of it. I want the width of that image to not be to be just 70% of the space available. And when I save it, this is what I will begin to have now. Can you see now? This is what I will begin to have immediately. Another thing you will notice is that in the finished text, the paragraph text under the logo is centrally aligned, central alignment. So I'll just come to footer call 2 and say everything inside footer call 2, make the text central alignment. I think it's even for all of them. Text, you say, so how do you align something to the center? You say text align. You see the word text align. Text align, the value will be center. Text align, the value will be center, and then you save. When you save it, you come to your project, and then you will see that the text has been aligned centrally, like this. If you don't like this font that you are seeing here, we have already talked about how to get a different font from Google. Get the font and use it. Now, if you check the image here, you see that the image is blending with a background. Okay, yes, we are supposed to work on that. The background of all these things, of all this footer, is black. Everything there is black. So how do we get that? So let's go to, instead of it being white like this, we are going to set footer now to have a background of black color. So let's go to footer. We already have a footer there now. Inside the footer, we are doing all these things inside the footer section. So let me just target this footer and say the background color is just going to be black. So footer, like that. And I will say background color. Background color, I want it to be black, like that. When I save it, I should be seeing something like this. Okay, but some other things are not showing again. Why? They're not showing again because the text the text and the background are blending together, the color is matching is matching each other. So the color will not be able to show. Black will not show on black. You will not be able to see it. So what was the magic they used? They make this one white and they make this one maybe ash 555 so that it can show on it. Then they make this one the same color as that one. So that's what we are going to be doing too. So download our app is going to be white. So let me go and do inline styling here. As you begin to type style and you say color, the value is going to be white. When you save it, you check your project, you'll be able to see that white there immediately. So color is white, and I will also change the color for the next one, which is the one below it, which is this p tag here, to something else, but it's not white. If you check it very well, you will see that this is not white. This is white, but the second one is not white. The second one is a bit darker than white. So I'm going to be trying to mimic it right now. So style, I'll be trying to mimic it right now. Style, then I'll pick color and say the value of my color is going to be hash 555. Let me use 555 for it, and then let's see how it looks on the screen. So it's going to look like that. Again, we want the text to be centralized, but you already know how to do that. So please do that in your own project. Make sure the text, the download our app, and this one, they are centrally aligned. You remember what you are going to use? Text align. You got it correctly. Text align. Okay, so the image is blending now. The logo is blending in very well, and we are almost getting what we have here. So let's see the big picture and have an idea of what we need to do next. We have technically done column 1 and we have done column 2. Interesting. Let's go to column 3 and column 4. For column 3 and column 4, what comes to your mind when you see something like this? It's like a list, right? It's like a list. And we are making a list in web development. We don't scatter them. We use a wrapper for them. How do you make a list? We make a list by using either ordered list or unordered list. Either we use ordered list and unordered list. We have already done this one before, and if you missed that class, please get the video and watch it and apply it so that you can learn how it works. But we are going to be doing it again right now, and then if you miss it that time, another opportunity for you to learn it. So let's go. Now I want to create for column 3 and column 4. And we have already set their width to be that. So I'm going to be saying, I'll first of all create this P on top, then I will create this list. I'll create P like this on H3. Let me use H3. I'll use H3 on top, the H3 on top for this one. Then, this is what I'm saying. I'm going to be using, let me switch. I'm going to be using H3 for that one. I'm going to be using H3 for this one, useful links. And I'm going to be using H3 for this link too. And then I'm going to be using list, maybe UL for this one and this list here. Okay, now let's go. Inside column 3 now, and this will be column 4. So inside column 3, I'll be having, I'll first of all have H3, and the value of that H3 is going to be useful links. Useful links for the H3. Okay, then inside under the H3, I will now have a list. Now I want to create a list. If you want to create a list, you either use OL or UL. If you need numbers there like 1, 2, 3, 4 or A, B, C, D, you will use ordered list. That means you are ordering it. A, B, 1 comes first before 2, then 3 on 4. That is ordered list, and in that case you use OL like this. But if you just want to list, you don't need the number there, you will use unordered list like this one. When you type UL, you press tab, and then you have this. Inside another list will be the wrapper containing your different items. So each of the items, we call them list item, like that. Each of the items, we call them list item. So each list item now, I'm going to be creating it. The first one is going to be coupons. Then I will copy and paste, and the next one is going to be blog post. just like that. Then I'll copy and paste, and then the next one is going to be return policy. Return policy. If you want, each of these things will link to a different page on your website, so that if you want your customer to go and read about your return policy, they can always click on this link and then it will take them to the page. The last one is going to be join affiliate. Join affiliate, like that. Affiliate is supposed to be single L, double L, single L here. I'm seeing single L here. Affiliate. Okay. Join affiliate. Okay. I've just reproduced exactly what we have right here. Now I've reproduced it right here. Affiliate. This affiliate does not look right. Affiliate does not look right. This one does not look right either. So it's supposed to be like this. All right. I'll save it. And then let's talk about the next column now, which is column 4. For column 4, instead of putting this 4 there, I'll be having exactly the same thing here. So let me just copy everything inside this one, and then I'll be changing them here. So let me take this 4 away and paste them here. Paste them here. Now, instead of useful links, I'll be having follow us. That means you want them to follow you on your social media channels. You want them to follow you. Then we have coupons. Instead of coupons, we'll be having Facebook. Instead of blog posts, we'll be having Twitter. Excuse me, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Thank you so much. Okay, instead of blog posts, you'll be having Twitter. Twitter. Okay. Blog post will be having Twitter. Then instead of Instagram, you'll be having, instead of return policy, you'll be having Instagram. Instagram, like that. And instead of the last one, you'll be having YouTube. YouTube, just like that. So when I save this one now, let's see how it's looking on our project. Let's see how it's looking in the UI, so that we can know what to adjust and make it look better. So this is how it's looking. This is how it's looking. Let's see it on a large screen. Let's see it on a large screen. This is the finished product, the finished item. Let's see our home project is here. Refresh it. I already opened the URL, the URL here also. So it's going to be looking like this. Now, why is it looking like this? It's looking like this because we have used flex for one UL item on top. Remember when we're doing our menu, we used another list too, and then we set the value we set here as display of flex is affecting this one. It's affecting the one below here too. It's affecting it. So we will now give this one a different class and affect them differently, so that they will stay under each other and not beside each other like we are seeing now. How do we do? Let's go. The UL, we're going to be giving the UL a class. The UL for both of them. We're going to be giving the UL a class for both of them. The class is going to be footer list. Okay, let's say footer UL. This is footer UL. I'm going to be giving the same class to this one because I want the same thing to happen to both of them. Footer UL. So let's go back to our VS Code and then we can see. I'm with you. I'm switching my screen so that I can see. Now, footer UL is what I've given to this one. I'm going to be giving this one to footer UL class equal to footer UL. Okay, I'll come inside here and say class equal to footer UL, so that we can whatever it is that we are doing to this footer UL, we affect both of them together. So let's go to our style and pick footer UL and say footer UL, footer-UL. Footer-UL, what I want is that, number one, I don't want the display to be flex. I want the display to be normal. So display to be normal will be display inline block. I can use inline block or block itself. When I save it, you're going to see that they are going to be under each other like this one. Okay, they're going to be under each other like that. Apart from that, there is a bullet there that is not showing because we are using a black background. But to be able to remove that bullet, you can just say list style type, and then you will choose none. This style type, the value will be none, so that the bullet part will go away. The bullet part will go away. So when I save this one now, the bullet part will go. You are not seeing it before because it is black, and the black is not showing, I mean, the black is not affecting, the black is not reflecting here. Okay, then what else do we need to do? Something is not showing, right? Something is not showing. This follow us and useful links are not showing. Their color is supposed to be white, but I think the color is black. So we go there now and set it so that it can be white. How do we set it? Footer call 4 and H3. Footer call 3 and H3. So we are going to pick those two and make their text, or let me just do it inline here. This useful links, I will say style. If I want to write the same thing for the two places at the same time without having to copy, I will click inside this place that I want to start. I will hold down the Alt key, Alt. On my Windows key, on my Windows system, I have a key called the Alt key. So on your own system too, you should be able to find it. On Macintosh, it is option. Yes. On Macintosh, it is option. So if you are using Macintosh, you find option there. Yes. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key, then come here and say, I want to click here also. And you can see the cursor blinking here, and the cursor is blinking here also. As it's blinking in the two places, whatever I'm typing now will be showing in the two places at the same time. So I want to press space, and I want to use style, and then I want to set the color for this one, the color for this one to be white, like that. So by the time I finish, you will see that I've already typed on the two lines simultaneously. You can type on many lines at the same time if you want to put the same thing on the line, just by using that same method. So you hold down your Alt key, and then you click on in all the positions where you want to place the text. Okay, when I save this one now, I should be able to see in my project, this is my project tab, I should be able to see the follow us, and the useful link and follow us showing up on the screen right now. Okay, they're already showing. And I think that, okay, there's something here that is not showing too. Underneath this logo, something should be there. Something is there underneath the logo. We have, our purpose is to sustainably. And of course, as you would have rightly guessed, the reason why it's not showing is because it is black. So we need to change it to something that will not be black. Maybe like hash 555 or hash CCC. Hash C for carrot. Not CCC. CC is for carrot, or figure 555 will make it a bit black. So let me go and look for it. I'm looking for this one under the image of footer 2. So this one, let me just use something here. Let me use internal style here. Let me use inline style here. Style color equal to hash 555, and then I'll save. And when I finish the saving, it will roll and try to project the web page so that it can show up right here now. Okay, now there are other things that we can put to this thing to make it responsive, to make it better. But honestly, for the purpose of this training, I would just like to leave this one like this for now. If you are now able to get to this part, and then after we have built this one successfully, we can now talk about other things you can do to make it look better, like aligning it, like justifying it, all those kind of things. But I think if you can achieve this one for now, you are good to go. The last part of the footer, which of course is this line that is here, and the copyright information is here down below. The first question you want to ask yourself is, how do you get this copyright logo here? Do you remember? This C, because it is not on the keyboard now. So how are you going to type this C here? How are you going to get it? Do you remember we talked about it earlier this week or late last week? Do you still remember how we are going to get it? Let me give you 5 seconds to be able to think about it and say it out to yourself loudly, so that, are you still using H3 in call 4? Yes. Yeah, VS Code is showing now. Thank you so much. Am I still using H3 in call 4? Yes, I'm using H3 in call 4. H3, you can use H3 anywhere, as long as the text is like a heading for that place. The only thing you cannot use is you cannot use H1 more than once on a particular page. So H2 and H3 can be, if they are the header for that particular segment, you can use H3. For example, where we used it, you can say useful links there and follow us on the screen. And you see, useful link is the heading of all those links, of all those links that we have there. Also, follow us is like the header of all the lists that we have there. So because it is the header, it is the one that is giving them interpretation, we just use H3 for it to show that this is an header, this is a header tag that is is a header tag that is being that is controlling, no, it's not controlling, that is like giving them expression. Yes, giving them expression. By the way, please, as you are please try and like this video, try and like it so that YouTube can help to allow others also to see it. Try and like this video if you have been enjoying it. Try and like it. I don't think that one will take so much from us. Please like it. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's the question that you have. I've already answered it. So let me go back to my work. I want to create this copyright information, and how can I create it? I already told us there are 2 ways to go about it. I'm going to show us the 2 ways right now quickly. Now, the first one is to go to your browser. Go to your browser and type on Google, you type HTML Unicode. Press enter. And then it's going to give you this one. This second one here, top tile, you select it. When you select this one, it's going to take you to a page where you can actually select a lot of icons. This kind of icons here. So if you want copyright information, just scroll down and then it is here. Copyright sign. So if you pick this one now, HTML code is this. HTML code is this one. Just copy it like that and paste it in your work. You will have copyright information. I think that one is even okay. Or you can go to Font Awesome and get something like that from Font Awesome. But this one is okay. So I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to use it in my work. All right, let me go back to my VS Code. Go back to my VS Code. I already copied that code there. I'll be using it now to be able to have copyright information in my project. The entire thing is going to be a paragraph tag underneath the footer. Let's go back to our footer. You remember how our footer is structured? Footer is structured in such a way that we have a div here called a class of row. So under this div that is called class of row, I'm going to be having another P now. P now. Inside the P, I'm going to start with the copyright information. I will paste this one there. What I copied just now, I'm pasting it right here. So that when I save it, I want to see what it will look like on the screen. Then it will roll and allow me to see it. Where is it? Is it there? Okay, perhaps it is the color. So let me change the color of this one, of this paragraph tag, to white. Color white, #FFF. Do you remember the color code for white? At least by now you should have remembered that one. White is #FFF, while black is #000. White FFF, black 000. So I saved it, and then after saving, I'll be expecting it to be there to show up so that I can see it clearly. Yes, it's there, like that, copyright information. And apart from that copyright information, I also have this text here. I'll just be copying it and then pasting it in my paragraph tag, like this, copy. And then I'll be pasting it beside this one like so. Okay, when I save it, I'll be having something like that. It's already, it will show, but because, okay, I've already changed the text to white, so it will show. Now it is showing. One last thing I want to do here is to make this text to be at the center. You remember how we do that? How we make text on a row, on a paragraph text to be on the center. Just come to your style tag here and say text align. To write a new one, I'll put a semicolon and say text align, like that, and the value is going to be center. When I save it, it will move to the center automatically by the grace of God. All right, so it has moved to the center like that. The only last thing on that page is this white line on top here. How can I get this white line on top here? Does it look like this paragraph has a border on top? Yes, it's like it's having a border on top. So let me create a border top for it and give it this color white. So the paragraph tag, let me come to the end of this text align center, and then I want to write another one. I will say border top. You know, we have border alone, which we apply to all the four corners, top, bottom, left, and right. We have border top alone. We have border left alone, border right alone, and so on. But what I want is border top. And I'm going to say it's going to be 2 pixel solid, and it's going to be white. Let me save it now, and then we see what we are going to be having in our project. So I'll be expecting it to scroll down, and then we can see this one. That's because I chose 2 pixel. If I choose to use only 1 pixel, it's going to at least be a bit mild instead of being that thick. Another thing is that I can add padding to inside this P so that there can be breathing room for the copyright information. If I add padding inside it, it will have breathing room within it. You remember, padding works within. So I'll be having padding, and it will be, let's say, 15 pixels for now, all round. Padding of 15 pixels all round. We allow it to load, and then it's going to give us this kind of something. Okay. With this, I believe I have been able to convince you. Let me work on this useful link and this one. They are very, very wrongly aligned. Instead of them to be centrally aligned together, they are wrongly positioned. So let me go to where they are so that I can quickly set that one up. Okay, inside the div of class of row is where we are talking about, and we are talking about column 3 and column 4. So I'll go to column 3 now and column 4. So let me first of all work on column 3. For column 3, I want this useful link also to be at the center, while follow us also will be at the center. How can I achieve that? Or if I make useful link to be at the center, it will still not set what I want it to set. I want useful link. I want the another list under it to also be centralized in the space given to it. So what I'm going to be doing is this footer another list. Let me do it this way. Let me just come here and say footer called 3. Everything in footer called 3 text align. Everything in footer called 3 text align center. So I'm coming here. Okay, I already have footer called 3 in my style. Let me come to my style and look for footer called 3 alone. Okay, and footer called 4. Good, they are here. Footer called 3 and footer called 4, they are here. Let me just say I want text align here to be center. And then when I save this one, I'll be expecting the two to be centralized like that. We can manage this one. This one is a bit better. We can manage this one. I would have loved to use justify content and align items, be able to set them to be centrally very well, but at least for now, we are okay. So let's look at it on a large screen and see how we are doing. On a large screen and see how we are doing. This is not our project. This is our project here. And this is how we are doing on the large screen. And you see, we have been able to produce the footer using flex basis and width for the images. We have been able to produce the footer like this. For this down part, we use border top for the paragraph, and then we apply padding to it to make it look that big. All right. Now, having said that, I'll be waiting for any question that we have. If we have any question, we should have the question now. And if we don't have any question, I will be taking us through the quiz that we'll be having right away. The quiz that we'll be having right away if we don't have question. So let me give you just 1 minute or 1 minute to think, to decide whether you have question or not. While we are waiting for that, let me have this timeout. 1 minute, I'll be back to see whether you have messages, whether you have questions or not. Thank you so much for your patience. So do we have any question already inside the chat? We don't have any question. Okay, it means everything we have explained today is still fine. The question that we have there, I've already explained it, and I believe it is clear enough that are we still using H3 in call 4? Yes, we are using H3 in call 4, and the reason for that is because we are that H3 there is the one that is the one that is the header for everything that is under it in that place. Okay, now we'll be going into our quiz now. As usual, our Slido has messed up. Slido has messed up, and so because Slido has messed up, we will be using that other one that is that that we just found. We'll be using it. It's not responding. It usually respond in the morning when I set the question, but in the afternoon when I want to access it, it gives me issues. So we'll be using this one now. We'll be using this one. I'll be sending a link to for us to join. I'll be sending us a link for us to join so that we can have a fun time together. Now, you remember how we joined the last time? Let me find it for you. The link you press on your phone. I'm going to send the link to you now. I'm going to send the link to you now. Let me find it, please. Okay, good. I'm going to paste it inside the YouTube chat. I'm going to paste it inside the YouTube chat. Where's my YouTube chat? Okay, here. And then please give me a second. I'm having a kind of igiaga here. Okay. All right. So join the quiz competition. Okay. Below. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. I think it will go like that. Okay, it will go like that. Now I need to. Okay. So the pin, I'm going to be sending in the pin right away. The pin is coming now. So click that link. The link will ask you for a pin. And when you have that pin, I'm going to be giving you the pin now. The pin is, let me paste the pin also on our YouTube chat. I'll paste the pin there, or we take the pin from, okay. Sorry, you can just click this new one I want to send. I want to send a new one now. So you can just click this one right now. This one already has the pin inside, I believe. This one already has the pin inside already. So please, let's use that one. Then I will be pasting it also on our group chat so that we can have. Okay, pasting it on our group chat also. So let's begin to come into our class. Let's begin to come into our classes. Waiting for players. Let me switch our screen. Okay. Okay, we have Temidayo inside already. Temidayo is inside already. So the pin is already embedded inside that inside the second one. If you click it, it will take you in directly. But if you are not able to click it, the pin is already showing on the screen. 478329 is the pin to enter into this class and take your quiz. So please, let's have us come in. Don't shy away. Don't shy away, please. Struggle with the network and come in. Make sure you find yourself here. I can see that everything we're asking is all that we have been talking about. It will be some that I've talked about today, and it will be some that we have been talking about since the beginning of the week. We still have only one person in the class. Please let others join. Let others join. Or should I paste the link on our? Where should I paste again? On the YouTube chat, on our WhatsApp, chat. Okay, let me try and see if I can paste on our WhatsApp chat. We have two now. Okay, we have Ayodeji Ezekiel and Temidayo. Let me see if I already pasted it there, right? Let me check. It's already there. Yes, it's already there. It's already there. Okay. All right. We have two. A network is disturbing Temidayo. Network is disturbing her. Please, let's wait. Let's give people 1 minute or two to join. 1 minute or two to join, so that we can have a fair competition. So that we will not be having. They already did. I missed 2 questions. I missed 3 questions because I didn't join early. Let's join with the link. And if we have difficulty in accessing the link, please let me know now. Please let me know now. People are having difficulty joining, right? They're having difficulty joining. But it's not a quiz if we have only one person. Okay, we have two now. We have two now. We have two now. Temidayo is back inside with headphone, with headphone, and with headset. So two. Can we have one more so that it can be a competition that is a bit competitive? All right. Okay, let's start. We have 25 questions in this setup for us in this place. 25 questions. So let's go. Fastest finger. Remember that fastest finger and and correct answer makes you the winner or not. So we are going to be having two people to compete now. If others are joining us after that, when network allows them, it is fine. They will meet whatever it is that we are. They will meet us wherever we are. Let's move. I'm starting, and the first question will be rolling on your screen any moment from now. The first question will be rolling on your screen any moment from now. Question 1 is already up. Which of the following tags was used to animate text on the screen? Which of them was used to animate text on the screen? We have 2 answers already. Okay, we have all our answers already, and one person chose option green, which is Mercury. Another person chose option blue, which is Marque. The correct spelling is it has double E at the end. Double E at the end. That is what makes, that's the confusion there. They are all pronounced the same way, but the correct answer has double E at the end, and that's our correct answer for this round. So let's move on to the scoreboard. The scoreboard we are having Aino Ayodeji. He got the answer correctly, and Temidayo is also following. So let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2. If there are conflicting styles from 2 different style sheets for the same element, which of them takes precedence? You have 20 seconds now. 20 seconds now. You have 10 seconds left. Okay, all our answers are in now. So it is the one below, as we have rightly chosen. Both of us chose the one below, which is very, very correct. It is the one below, really. But who chose first and who is leading us now on our leaderboard? On our scoreboard, we have Aina Ayodeji is still leading with 1769 points, and Temidayo is having 750 points. Let's move on to question 3 of 25. A feature that is no longer used or has been replaced with a better one is said to have been dashed in web development. What is the answer? Choose one. Is it red? Is it blue? Is it yellow, or is it green? Choose your choice and let's move. We have 8 seconds left, and all our answers are in now. Okay, we can call it one person chose desecrated, another person chose deprecated. The correct answer is deprecated. A feature is deprecated if it is no longer needed, or if it's no longer used in web development again. We call it deprecated. The feature has been deprecated. So who is leading us now? We have Aina Ayodeji leading us with 2663. Temidayo is still on 750. Let's move on to the next question now. Question 4 of 25. In modern web development, you create animations by using dash. What do you use to create animation? Be watchful of the spellings in those places. Okay, we have all our answers now, and both of us chose option green, which is at keyframe. The correct answer is at keyframes, plural. The correct answer is at keyframes, plural, because let me quickly show us the screen so that we can see where we did it, and we can remind ourselves at keyframes, right? At keyframes, where is at keyframes? At keyframes, can you see? At keyframes. At keyframes mark you direction. So it is at keyframes. Okay, you may not be able to go back, but let me give you 1 second to go back and see the screen. If you want to see the screen for 10 seconds, quickly check it, and then you can then go back to your game. So at keyframes is the word that we normally use, not at keyframe. There's S at the end of that keyframe. Thank you. You can now go back to your quiz now before I open the next question. Go back to your quiz now before I open the next question. So let's see the scoreboard. Who's leading us on the scoreboard now? We have, okay, of course, the scoreboard will remain the same because both of us missed that question. It is at keyframes that we should have picked. Keyframes with S. Question 5 of 25 now. Is the default arrangement pattern of two different elements placed on the web page? How will they look? You have 20 seconds. We have one answer already, and then we'll be having the second answer now. Two answers are in. So they will be on top of each other correctly. That is correct. They will be on top of each other. That's the default arrangement. If we don't do anything, we don't use flex, we don't use grid, you drop elements on the web page, they will be on top of each other. So let's see. Still leading on the leaderboard. Of course, it will be Ainoyadeji still leading because Temidayo got this one too correctly, but the gap is so much, and except Ainoyadeji misses a question, he cannot drop from that position. So Temidayo, is either you keep on picking things very fast, or you pray. I won't tell you what to pray. Let's move on to the next question. Are you ready for the next question? Let's go. Question 6 of 25. Which of them can be used to make elements stay beside each other? Which of them can be used to make elements stay beside each other? We have one answer already, and then we'll be having, okay, one person chose display and one person chose position. Actually, what was in our mind when setting this question was that display or flex is what we can use to make things stay beside each other, not position. The correct answer is display. So you can use display of flex or display of grid. They will still be beside each other. So display is the correct answer for this one. Let's see who is leading, who missed it. Okay, Ainoyadeji is still leading with 4,480 points, while Temidayo is following with 1,556 points. Let's move on to question 7 of 25. Two major parts of using at keyframes are dash and dash. Dash and dash. You have 10 seconds left. Our answers are in. It is from and to. You chose correctly. The correct answers are from and to, and you have chosen the correct one. We start with from, and then we end with to. So let's see who is leading now. Of course, it will still be because the gap is much. So except Temidayo prays very well. Okay. Ainoyadeji is leading with 5,381 points, while Temidayo is following with 2,434 points. Okay, we move to question 8 of 25 now. Question 8 of 25. You remember this one. Giving a hint to the user about what to enter in the form. You have 20 seconds. Okay, all our answers are in, and the correct answer is actually placeholder. Placeholder gives the user a hint of what to put in the text. So let's see whether Temidayo is catching up. Temidayo is having 3,365 points, while Ainoyadeji is having 6,325 points right now. We move on to question 9 of 25. Question 9 of 25. What does the UL tag in HTML represent? The UL tag. Is it the red, or the yellow, or the blue, or the green? Our answers are in, and we all chose on ordered list. So let's see if we have been able to gain some seconds. From each other. So we have Temidayo getting 4,161 points, while I know is having 7,240 points. Okay, let's go to the next question. Question 10 of 25 coming up right now. How do you create a checkbox in HTML? How do you create a checkbox in HTML? Okay, our answers are in. We all chose the correct answer. It is input that we use, and type will be equal to checkbox. Our answers are correct, but timing, let's see if we are gaining time or losing time. I know Adeji is on 8083 point, while Timidayo is having 4948. That's almost 5,000 anyway. So about 5,000. So please keep it up, Timidayo. Keep it coming. You're likely you can still win. You can still win, especially if there is mistake on the part of your opponent. Let's move on to question 11 of 25. 11 of 25. What does the margin property in CSS do? The margin property in CSS, what does it do? Add space inside an element. Add space inside an element. I'm happy that we chose the correct thing. I don't know what I choose as the answer here, but the correct answer is not there. I did not choose the correct answer, but it's good that both of us chose the same answer. We chose the same answer. We chose option D, which is add space inside an element. What actually adds space inside the element is padding. What's supposed to be the answer is add space outside the element. Add space outside the element. But we put inside here as a mistake. But I'm happy that both of us chose the same thing. So it will affect us the same way. So let's go. Let's see the scoreboard now. The scoreboard, both of us will be getting it correctly right now. I chose that same thing that you picked. I chose that same option as the answer. So both of us got it correctly. But please, when we use margin, we are setting the space outside of the element, not inside the element. Okay, so we move on to the next question, which is question 12 of 25. What is the correct syntax for creating a form in HTML? Choose wisely, choose very fast. You have 15 seconds. Creating a form. How do we create a form? Okay, all our answers are in and we chose correctly. Green is the answer. That is form. Choosing form, opening tag of form, and closing tag of form is what we use to create form. And once we have that, we can now go to the scoreboard and see how we are doing. We are having 9563 points for Ayodeji Ezekiel and 6185 points for Temidayo, following closely with a margin of around 3,000 points. Okay, let's move on to the next question, question 13 of 25. How can you make text bold using CSS? Which of these will make your text to be bold in CSS? You have 15 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds left. And then our time is up. Okay, so somebody chose yellow, another person chose green, which is text style of bold and font weight of bold. I remember I did this one today so that it can act as a refresher. And for us to make our text bold, we use font weight. The weight is how heavy it is. How heavy do we want the text to be? And then that is what we use to be the font weight. We use font weight to set it to bold. So let's check the scoreboard and see how we are doing. Oh, I know Adeji is moving with 10424 points, with Temidayo having 6185 points. Let's move on to the next question, question 14 of 25. Question 14 of 25. Which property is used to change the font of an element? That is the handwriting of the element. The handwriting of the element, the font of an element. Which property do we use to change it? Okay, so we have two options chosen. One person chose font family, the other person chose font style, which is the blue color. Okay, the correct answer is font family. Font family is what we use to change the handwriting of our text. If you have confused a bit, you can watch the video again and see where we use them and the way we use them also. So let's see how we are doing on the scoreboard. On the scoreboard, I know Adeji is on fire with 11,360 points, while Temidayo is having 6185 points, and I believe she is still believing that something good can happen. Please don't lose the faith, don't lose the hope. I want you to have the hope up. Keep it up. Keep the hope up. Keep the fire burning. The next question is question 15 of 25, and it says, what does the padding property do in CSS? The padding property. The padding property. We have one answer already. We have two. And then our time is up. Our time is up. Our time is up. So the correct answer is the space between the border and the content of the element. Between the border and the content, that is within it. Between the border and the content, that's what padding will help you to control. That space, it will help you to control it, whether by increasing it or decreasing it. Let's check the board and see how we are doing. Okay, Timda got this one correctly, and she has moved to 6885 points, while Anadeji is still on 11360 points, still leading by almost 5,000 points already. Let's move on to the next question. Question 16 of 25. What does the alt attribute in an image tag do? The alt attribute. 15 seconds left. We have one answer, and we have the second answer now. Waiting for the third person. Time is almost up, and then the time is up. Okay, time is up. The correct answer to this question is it provides an alternative text for the image if the image cannot be displayed. If the image you have in your web page cannot be displayed, we normally put alt tag there, and the text inside that tag will be displayed on the screen in place of the image that is unable to display. Okay, it normally happens. These days it doesn't happen that much again because they have developed browsers. But in old systems, it does happen that in old browsers, it does happen that the browser will not be able to open the image or load it, and then we need this alt to just come in and save the day at that particular point. Let's see what we are doing, how we are doing on the scoreboard. On the scoreboard, I know Ayodeji is on 12,160 points, while Temidayo is on 6,885 points, 6,885, almost 7,000. So the margin is like 5,000 right now. Let's move on to question 17 of 25. The correct HTML for creating a hyperlink that opens in a new tab. You have 15 seconds left. 15 seconds, 10 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Okay, all our answers are in. We all chose the correct answer, which is option yellow. Hyperlink, the target is going to be underscore blank. It is target of underscore blank that's going to give us that particular, that will make the link to open in a new tab. Target equal to underscore blank. So let's see how we are doing on the scoreboard. Okay, DMJ is just joining, and that is why you are seeing the score that is low. It's not because he has been missing questions, it's because he is just joining. So we have I know Ayodeji with 13,081 points, while Temidayo is having 7,557 points, and DMJ is having 869 points. Can we move on to the next question, which is question 18 of 25? Which property is used to align text to the center in CSS? To align text to the center in CSS, which of them? Is it the red, or the blue, or the yellow, or the green? You have 10 seconds left. Which one is used to align text to the center? All our answers are in already. How do we choose? Okay, we all chose the correct one. Text align center. But now it's a function of time. Time. Let's see how we are doing on the scoreboard. On the scoreboard, we have I know Ayodeji with 13,932 points. Temidayo is having 8,279 points, and DMJ is having 1,641 points. Let's keep on picking the correct answers, and let's be as fast as we can so that we can continue to increase our chances. Question 19 of 25 is coming up right now. Which is the correct way to add a border in CSS that is 2 pixels wide, it is black, and it is solid? Which one? 10 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Then we have time is up. now. Time is up now. Time is up now. So the correct answer is border 2 pixel solid black. It is not border width 2 pixel. No. It is border 2 pixel solid black. So we first of all specify the width, then we specify the type, then we specify the color, and then it is border straight, not border width. Okay, let's see how we are doing on this on the scoreboard. On the scoreboard, we have Aina Ayodeji on 14,000 points, while Temidayo is having 8,700 points, and DMJ is having 1641. Now, let's have the next question. That is, Temidayo has gotten 3 questions in a row and is back in the game. Let's move on to question 20 of 25 now. 20 of 25. What is the key difference between a radio button and a checkbox in HTML form? Radio button and a checkbox in HTML form. You have 10 seconds left. And our time is up. Our time is up. Time is up. Okay, we have a lot of options there, and it takes time to read them and understand. But if you have mastered it, you will know what you are looking for in this thing. Okay, the correct answer is radio buttons allow only one option, while checkboxes allow multiple options. Radio will allow only one option, while checkboxes will allow only one option. Can we move on to the scoreboard and see how we are doing? On the scoreboard, we have Aina Ayodeji on 15,283 points, while Temidayo is having 8797 points. DMJ is following with 1641 points, and the rest are coming like that. So let's move on to the next question, which is question 21 of 25. 21 of 25. In CSS grid, what property is used to define the number of columns in a grid layout? In a grid layout. Okay, 5 seconds left. Okay, then we have our answers. Our answers have already been submitted. In CSS grid, the property that we use to define the number of columns is grid template columns. Grid template columns. Grid template columns is the answer. And let's see how we are doing on the scoreboard. On the scoreboard, we have Aina Ayodeji on 16,032 points, while Temidayo is having 9,437 points. Okay. DMJ is having 1641 points. Perhaps it's network that is preventing him from from coming in and participating again. Okay, let's move on to question 22 of 25 now. 22 of 25. Which property in CSS grid is used to specify the space between the grid items? You have 20 seconds, please. 20 seconds, 15 seconds. The space between grid items, which property do we use to set it? Okay, so we have our answers are in, and the correct answer is gap. You chose the correct answer. The correct answer is gap. Gap is correct for that section. So let's move on to the scoreboard. The scoreboard is interesting. We have 10,000 points for Temidayo, 16,000 points for Aina Ayodeji, and 1641 points for DMJ. Let's move on to question 23 of 25. 23 of 25. How do you use multiple classes on a single element? Multiple classes on a single element. Okay, we all chose different answers here. But if you want to use multiple classes on a single element, we did that one yesterday when we already have a class, and then we need to add some other qualities to that particular element, but we don't want to include those qualities inside the first class. So we wrote another class we put the qualities there, then we put that same class on that same element, so that the element is now having two different classes that is going to be drawing instructions from. And the way we do that, the correct answer is option green. We just separate the class names with a space. In the HTML, we separate them with a space. So it will be class of row, then class of wrapper. So it will be row space wrapper inside that quote. It will be row space wrapper. I hope that one is clear right now. So let's move on to the next question. Question 24 of 25. Oh, sorry, scoreboard. Scoreboard is giving us 16,852 points for Aino Ayodeji, while Temidayo is having 10,055 points. DMJ is having 1641, and Oppo is having 877. Let's move on to the next question, second to the last one, 24 of 25. What is the correct syntax to apply multiple classes to a div element in HTML? Down, let's see it. Sorry, 2 seconds left, and then 1 second, and time is up. The time is up now. So time is up, and we have the correct answer is the blue, where we just separate the classes with a space in between them. We separate the classes with a space in between them. So div class equal to class 1 space class 2 is the correct one. So let's see who chose first. Who is leading on the scoreboard? On the scoreboard, we have Aino Ayodeji having 17,716 points, while Temidayo is having 10,055 points. Oppo is having 1650, and Temidayo is okay. The last Temidayo. That one, okay, that one is not part. Okay, so we have 17,716, 10,055, 1650, and we are moving to the last question now. Is there anything that can still happen that will make Temidayo to be in the first position in this quiz, because the gap at the margin to Aino Ayodeji is so large. It's about 7,000 points already. I doubt it, but let's see what will happen. Let's move on to the last question for today, which is question 25 of 25. It's coming up right now. In how many ways can we apply CSS to our web development project? In how many ways? You have 30 seconds. Let's begin to see the answers already. Okay, all our answers are in already. We all said the yellow, which is 3. 3 is the answer. 3, we can apply CSS to our web project by using the external style sheet, or internal, or inline. And then by the time we look at the scoreboard now, we should have an interesting show coming up on our screen. The person that is on the third point is that. The second is Temidayo with 11,008 points, while Aino Ayodeji is having 18,656 points, and it becomes the leader of today's quiz. The winner of today's quiz is Aino Ayodeji. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. It has been an awesome time with you. I like the headset that they gave to Temidayo. That is a nice headset. And then they gave Aino Ayodeji a cap, a magic cap. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Okay, on this note, I think we have, if there is no question for me, let me check. Okay, there is no question for me. On this note, I would like to be calling it a day today, and leaving us in the hands of God, who is able to keep us from falling. Until we see next time, which is supposed to be next week, but I think I want to give us next week to actually practice and build things. Actually practice all these things and build things, so that maybe we will not have any class next week at all, so that we can practice. It's so that we can practice. Assuming we are all able to practice and submit by weekend, no problem. Then we continue classes on Monday. But if I don't have any submission, I will have to assume that the training is too much for us to be having every day. So I will give us the whole of next week for us to practice, and then we can now continue in the last week of the training. During the 1 week that I'm giving us, if we are stuck at any point, we can always reach out to me. Especially if we normally attend our live classes, I will find time for us to explain any part that we don't understand. So until that time, I leave you in the hands of God, who is able to keep you from falling. Let's keep following us on our channel, on our social media channels, like our WhatsApp group and our Facebook group, and our LinkedIn group so that we can know the information that is going around. Thank you so much for joining today, and have a wonderful night rest. Bye-bye. See you again. Bye-bye.